Toward the end of 1953, Brother Bill Turnbough, my cousin, had started a mission work, named it the Fourth Free Will Baptist Church because it was the fourth Free Will Baptist Church to be started in St. Louis on New State Vista, and he accepted a pastor in Illinois and left there and the people that was there wanted Gladys and I to come and be their pastor, so I stopped driving down into the Viburnum and Dillard area, and it was late in 53 or very early in 54. I think it was right at the end of 53. I assumed the pastorate. We were living back in the St. Louis area at that time on the Illinois side, and so I assumed the pastorate there. And of course, I was attending the church there, and we drove from the Illinois side over to that area. They had a big rented building that had been built from a store building into a church building by another denomination before Bill got it. And so we started going there. Of course, we had Sunday school on Sunday morning worship hour. And then we had, in those days, church training. And then for an hour, and then Sunday night worship service. Of course, we had a Wednesday night Bible study and prayer meeting, that's usually called in those days. And always on Thursday night, we had I organized a visitation program. We met at church and we tried to gather prospects and that. And I would have the names ready. And we usually had several that would come out, and we would go over the names and the list and have prayer. I would usually assign them into couples to go certain places. And we would try to be out about an hour and then meet back at church and discuss our experience that particular night, picked up any prospects and go with that, and then have a prayer. Sometimes we'd get something to eat before we went home, we'd go home. But this was a pretty full schedule, and also working full time. The plant was running 3 shifts, and I was responsible for all of them as production personnel manager, but we didn't think anything about all that. We were just all seemed like really enjoying serving the Lord, working for the Lord. Also, wasn't long after that I felt I needed some more training, so Brooks Bible Institute was known as a good 3-year school there in St. Louis, and they had Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday classes, and then they had classes on Saturday because most of everybody went there wanted to be in their midweek services, so I registered there and started a 3-year program, which I stayed with it until I finished the 3 years, but I'll not take the time to go into more detail than that, other than the fact that at one time that had been a Presbyterian school, and they had given this to make a Bible Institute out of it, and it was a very good school with very good teachers. Most of the teachers at that time, I remember, even had PhDs in theology and different fields of church work, and they were very dedicated in that. It was a very, very helpful program. But in the meantime, of course, the Fourth Church grew with the help of the people and the Lord, and we outgrew the buildings there, and we were looking to buy a place or build or whatever. Of course, we did not have a lot of money to invest, very little. But another church outgrew, a Baptist church outgrew their facilities out in Maplewood off of Manchester, 2124 Yale Boulevard. And long story short, God opened the door. Wish I could tell the story of that, but I don't know. Take all the time. But I'm standing outside with a real estate company wondering in my mind, how am I going to tell this man I had took the people after going through all this at the church and wanted to look at the property, and they were inside. I have always seen it several times. I'm standing there thinking, leaning against the automobile with the real estate man, how am I going to tell this man we don't have? I was going to ask him what we can do about borrowing the money to buy it. While I'm standing there praying under my breath, the real estate man said to me, if you all don't have the money, we have widow women, people that invest their monies. And we've got 2 widow women who had some indebtedness paid off. They've asked me to try to find some way to invest this. And of course it would be through us, but they will loan the money. So I knew then and there that was indeed an answer to prayer, and it was amazing how God works things out. So anyway, we ended up buying that property. It wasn't a large fancy building or anything, but it was what we needed at the time, and we bought the property, was able to make the payment and everything, and had a little bit to pay down, but these 2 widow women, we never met them, but through the realtor, furnished the money, and it was an answer to prayer, and the church grew, and several younger ministers joined the church. One man, Johnny Land, who had answered a call back in the Salem church 6 months behind me to preach, and he and his wife and 2 daughters were of course working and living in St. Louis, and so he was wanting to start a church. So we took 10 families, good families, and started to work out close to Valley Park, and rented a house. Gladys and I, we went out there, helped clean up the house, and I preached 2 weeks of Bible. Most of our people went out, and God blessed that work. And we're talking about having a full-time pastor, so I went ahead and stayed with the church corporation for 1 more year and worked, and we sort of built back up, and then I left the corporation. I had just under 20 years with the company, and was offered another promotion. I had been promoted 2 or 3 times during this particular time, but again, it's one of those very difficult decisions, but I felt sure it was the Lord's will, so I gave a 90-day notice that I was going to be leaving the corporation, so they'd have time to hire somebody to replace me. And they hired an engineer man that had been in the military. He came and followed me around the last month I was there, and they made some pictures of how I was doing things and that. And anyhow, I left. They did not want me to leave. They offered me want me to take a year's leave of absence. I could come back and wouldn't lose any seniority or anything. And I thought about that for about 1 day and night. I went and told my superior that calling his home office in California that I felt like I needed to step out on faith. If I didn't go on faith, that I probably might come back, and I wanted to trust the Lord. I felt that's what I should do. So we agreed to that, and just want to say this because it means so much and always has to me. The last week I was there, he flew in from California to St. Louis and talked to me and told me that as long as I didn't work with another company, that I could always have a job back. But he also paid me a great honor by saying, if you work in what you're going into the way you've worked for us, you'll never be back looking for a job for us. And he said, what you're doing is not competition to us, and so as long as you don't work for another corporation or anything, you'll always have a job. So I knew then that God must be in it, because I didn't sign that year leave of absence to come back. And anyhow, I stayed on at the 4th church, and then felt led to take a church, Parkview Church in Deloach, Missouri. Their building had been torn away with a tornado that hit the area, most of the homes. Many things were built back, but I resigned the 4th church, and then the next full-time pastor was Parkview Church in Deloach, Missouri, where I had a really good pastor. But I only stayed there a little over 2 years, and then was called to a church in Illinois. But in the meantime, of course, the kids were growing up, going to school. Before I left the fourth church at 8 years old in a revival meeting one night. The altar was full of people, and the evangelist and I and the visiting pastor in the area was in the altar working with people, and I looked around and there was Jim. He was 8 years old, if I remember correctly. He was in the altar, so he came to Christ. And I remember we would go out of the city to a place where a lot of churches went to in those days called Elmer O, down south of St. Louis. And the county, with their grader, would keep the gravel and everything real smooth and that. Sometimes you'd stand in line and wait for another church. And after that revival, we baptized 14 people. Jim was one of them. And I've had funerals of many of the people since that time. But God honored and blessed in a marvelous way. And I was also being called at this time for preach revivals across the country. And the family continued to grow in that. And of course, my wife was the one that will help me. She was always ready and willing to go wherever I felt the Lord wanted me to go, and do whatever I felt the Lord. And we pray about things, and she'd say, if you're sure that's what you think the Lord wants. We moved from there to Illinois, and then after I pastored the church in Illinois, I'd already been going to Illinois for direct the annual youth camps. They asked me to take the state mission work, and so I became their state-home missionary and moved up to Springfield and on into Quad Cities and built a church. Bought an existing church building and built a congregation in Moline, Illinois. Jim had graduated from high school back at Cesar, Illinois, where I was at. He went to college the first year we went away, and of course Jeff and Judy went to school. We first went to Springfield, and they transferred us on to Moline. And Judy went through her third year of high school there, and Jeff went through junior high, and then we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Judy finished high school there, and then I was in Nashville about 3.5 years, and then went back really to my home to Vibe, Missouri, and took a work there. And Jeff finished his last 2 years of high school in Vibe, Missouri, and then from there to Bible college. All the kids got to attend Bible college. Became married. God called them all into service, missionary work, pastoral work, and Jeff met his mate there, and Jim met a girl there from North Carolina, and they married. Judy met a boy in Missouri, and then Ken, and then he went to Bible college, and they ended up going to Japan as missionaries a year after Jeff and Susan went to Spain as missionaries. And Jim became a pastor. Pastored in Tennessee and Illinois, 1 year in Arkansas and back. And of course, my ministry moved around. I pastored in Tennessee, Alabama, did home mission work in Florida, Delaware, and then pastored a while in North Carolina and came back home to Missouri, where I'm still at. And it's absolutely amazing. I don't think there are words to convey how God blessed my dear wife and I. We had the honor and the privilege of being together 4 months short of 68 years. We got to visit several foreign nations, our kids in Spain, Japan, times, and on October the 21st, 2015, my wife had a stroke, and she never did come to. We had to airlift her from Rolla, Missouri, to Springfield, Missouri, and had brain surgery, and she didn't come to. She lived 7 days. God took her home, and we'd had it on our funeral papers for several years that if something happened like this, we didn't want to be kept unless we could have some quality of life. And so the Lord took her on home. No man ever had a better companion or helpmate. The children never had a better mother. But now, all the kids, before she went, we got to see our children all come to Christ, baptized, see them married. And God blessed us, of course, with 3 wonderful in-laws, 2 daughter-in-laws and a son-in-law, then 7 wonderful children. Saw them all come to the Lord, become married, and now we have 3 children, their companions. We have 7 grandchildren and their companions. We have 18 great-grandchildren and more on the way, probably be several more. 2 oldest grandchildren are now in Bible college, studying to be full-time Christian workers. All of our family working some capacity for the Lord, mission work, whether it's teaching, preaching, music work, leading people to the Lord. And I've been taught most of my ministry in our life, and I've been taught it that you cannot outgive God, cannot outdo God. And He has proven it over and over and over again. Just about 3 months more, I'll have my 90th birthday. Gladys and I may have already said, short 4 months of 68 years together. She had just had her 85th birthday on October the 6th, had a stroke on the 21st, passed away past midnight on the 28th. We were buried on the 31st of October 2 years ago this year. Soon be 2 years, and I'm still privileged. I've been serving as a missionary, as a chaplain at a hospital for almost 20 years. God helped us build a great program there. It just gained #1 in the States as far as the spiritual aspect of it and that, and still keeping the doors open to the little church where I started at, to preaching that, and God is still blessing me, and I'm still able to witness and share the Lord and minister to people and enjoy a wonderful godly family. God is great.